Welcome back, YouTube. It is hotter than a mother. But we're back for more MSQ playthrough. We're gonna just jump right into it. Heat be damned. Welcome back, sir. We've been expecting you. You will find refreshments laid out in your quarters. We hope they are to your liking. Will you be retiring now? Very good, sir. I bid you a pleasant evening. I hope the past few days have not been overly taxing. Pray take your rest and recover.
From the Exarch, is it? With that mirror of his, he can watch your every move, you know. You probably think you're talking to yourself. Still, he's keeping you well fed. Judging by his people's faith in him, he seems to be a decent sort. But so much about him remains shrouded in mystery. Like, what was he doing back in my day? There was no such person when I was around. A lot's happened since the flood, though. Since I was set adrift. I know little more than you do of this city's history in the Exarch's past. Not that it matters. It's Emmett's Selk we should be concerned about. When our world was about to be consumed by light, the Ascian in white appeared before us. He said that the only way for us to live on was to bring about the rejoining. Desperate as we were, we heeded his words, not realizing that the flood was of the Ascian's own making. They cannot be trusted. None of them, but Emmett Selk had one thing right. One should not fight blindly. That's what we did. And it cost us everything we held dear.
Not everything.
You mean Seto? Well, that's... I suppose you're right. He's done some growing. When we were traveling together, he was nowhere near as big, and he obviously couldn't speak. I had no idea how much that medallion meant to him. What about you, anyway? You must have a friend like Seto? Chocobo, perhaps? Come on, you tell me something for a change.
Good day to you, sir. I do hope you are well rested. The Exarch and your companions are presently gathered in the ocular. He asks that you convene with them at your earliest convenience. I always do that. I go to the markets thinking it's the ocular.
You're just in time to welcome our guest.
Excuse me? Oh.
Please, did I not explicitly tell you that we would be meeting again soon? Lest you forget, I made you a promise. I have no intention of meddling with your mission. I come only to observe. Your Exarch friend in particular has piqued my curiosity. Summoning you all like that. Most impressive.
You honestly expect us to believe you've come only to observe? Or that you might deign to lift a finger to aid our cause if called upon? Even if there were a sliver of truth in your words, I would never accept your help. Not in my darkest hour. Not after all the suffering your kind has wrought.
So petty. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Wage your war against the Sin Eaters, put each and every Light Warden to the sword, prove yourselves heroes, brave and true, and I will be glad to embrace you as allies. Allies worthy of bearing the burden of truth.
They really like the
Surely
close-ups.
such a partnership would be preferable to yet another round of fisticuffs. And thus did the olive branch wither and die. Pity. Well, let no man say I did not try, futile as it was. Though I suspect you will seek me out when you grow tired of making the same mistakes. Difficult decisions lie ahead of you. Decisions best made with the benefit of knowledge to which only the eternal are privy. For now, I shall resume my shadowy vigil. Whatever you choose to do, make sure it's worth watching, would you?
What does the Exarch have to say about all this?
What was that all about?
A vain attempt to make us doubt our chosen course, most like. As if we'd believe a word that passed his lips. Unless you think there is some truth in what he says.
A colonel, perhaps.
If he simply meant to lead us astray, he could have done so without revealing himself. At least, not in the manner he did. It goes without saying that an alliance with the Ascians is out of the question. But since we have no way of knowing where they might be hiding, it seems only logical to press on with our mission, even if our enemy seems content for it to succeed.
Then let us discuss the Sin Eaters. I would begin by thanking you all for your efforts thus far. In striking down the Light Wardens of Lakeland and Ilmeg, you have accomplished more in your short time here than all of our forces managed in the last century.
That may be, but the Wardens of Calusia, Amareng, and Raktika remain.
Indeed, and their precise whereabouts are as yet unknown. Which is why I propose we divide our forces and conduct a systematic survey of each region. Once we have found our quarry, we may then determine how best to proceed.
I'll take Amareng in that case. I know the lie of the land well enough.
If there are no objections, I will make for Calusia. I have connections there both in and around Yulin that may prove useful.
Then I would ask that you journey to Raktika. There you will find Y'shtola. With her assistance, I doubt the Warden will evade your grasp for long.
Is Y'shtola the conjurer you and Urianger used to talk about?
That's right. Though we haven't spoken much since she left for the forest.
I fear I may be to blame for that. I had every intention of relaying the news of your arrival, but she is disinclined to speak with me. You have visited her, have you not? Might I trouble you to...
Twould be no trouble.
My thanks. While you are all out in the field, I shall be here attending to business. I had somewhat fancifully contemplated joining the search myself, but other matters demand my attention.
What's that?
A missive from Lord Vorthry. He invites me to join him in Yulmore to discuss the recent conflict at Leda Luran.
And? Did he even bother to offer any bait? It's obviously a trap.
I should be surprised if it were not. Nevertheless, I must seize this opportunity to speak with him, even if only a few words are exchanged. Though my power will be much diminished so far from the tower, it is a risk I am willing to take. Master Alphino, might I impose upon you to accompany me to Yulmore prior to beginning your reconnaissance? Of course. Then let us make ready. Safe travels to you all.
Before you leave, I would make a request of you. There is a church, or rather the ruins of a church, at Fort Job. I'd ask that you go there before seeking out Y'shtola. It was a place where people once gathered to worship the light. Alas, it has long since fallen into disuse. Yet within that hall there remains a tablet whose writings I believe may prove of use to Y'shtola. At the very least, such a relic would make a suitable gift for your reunion. A most considerate proposal. Very well. Ere we depart to Raktika, we shall journey on to Fort Job that we might secure this relic. Here, amidst these ruins, we will find the Church of the First Light, and within that hallowed hall, the tablet we seek. Time is of the essence, my friend. Let us be quick. At the height of Lakeland's prosperity, these sites served not as man's final bastion, but as testament to his ingenuity and architectural prowess. The Church of the First Light was responsible for many such marvels, building majestic chapels in every corner of the realm. Alas, the flood with its inexorable tides would drown nigh every one, and did all but put an end to the religion as a whole. For those creatures which then did rise from that fulgent deluge were seen as agent Jesus Christ. I hate Urianger so much. For the creatures which then did rise from that fulgent deluge were seen as agents of divine punishment, sent to devour sin and sinner both, whence came the name of Sin Eater. Fucking hell. The people were lost seemingly forsakenly by their god. Yet there was a light that hath ever been shade, and twas in the dark they sought solace. The most devout of these worshippers of shadow did then migrate to the Raktika Greatwood, but that is a tale for another time. For now, let us find what remaineth of the chapel here. Fucking... talk about a buzzkill. Aye, this is indeed the church we seek. It's surprisingly intact. What little is left of the churches I've seen until now has always borne the scars of decades of disuse. Its subterranean construction hath done much to protect the hall from the ravages of time, yet the reason for its remarkable preservation may be deduced from its decoration. As faith in the light did wane, so rose reverence for the dark, and its followers did want for places of worship. To be plain, the standards which do adorn these walls belong not to those who built them, but to worshippers of the dark, the Knights Blessed, who subsequently migrated to Raktika, yes? Indeed. 'Twas beneath the shaded boughs of the Raktika Greatwood that they finally found sanctuary. Often many times did Yulmore make spurious overtures of friendship unto them, but they are no fools. The Exarch knoweth full well that Ishtola in her seclusion doth labor to learn all she may of the Blessed and their past. 'Tis why he sent us here, I now see. The tablet of which he spoke no doubt provideth a glimpse into the history that she so yearneth to comprehend. Well then, we'd better hurry up and find it. Search for your surroundings for the tablet. You may move the camera. Really? That's all I got? Located the time-worn tablet. Within the altar, thou sayest. Should have been the first place you looked, to be honest. Naught escapeth thine eye, 'twould seem. This is indeed the tablet we seek. Curious. These engravings predate the Knights Blessed. If I am not mistaken, they are written in the script of the ancient empire of Ronka, whose capital once stood in the midst of what is now Raktika. 'Twould be no small matter to decipher them. A fine gift for a seeker of truth. Displain the Exarch understandeth Ishtola only too well. But come, let us quit this place and make ready for our journey into the woods. Ere we depart, there is a custom of the Knights Blessed which I feel compelled to elucidate. As one might expect, they deem light to be aberrant, and everything it touches to be fouled. Thus do they take the utmost pains to protect all they can from its taint, including their very names. To speak plain, it is the belief of the— yeah, speak plain, you fucking asshole. Belief of the Blessed that one's own name must ne'er be uttered in the light of the everlasting day, yet this commandment precludeth not the use of another's. Thus do parents— this is plain? This is speaking plain, you piece of shit? Thus do parents protect their children, and in rare cases masters their disciples. So it is that Ishtola hath taken the name of Master Matoya. Lest we offend them, I bid you speak not her true name in the Blessed's presence. With that in mind, let us speak with the guard who keepeth vigil at the great wood's border. Ew, to speak plain. To speak plainly, scooby-dooby-dooby-dooby-dooby-dooby. Fucking prick. Well met, traveler. What business brings you here? Yes, of course, right this way.
No matter how far he goes, man cannot resist looking back on the path he has walked. The untold stories and secrets of the past can be more alluring than the promise of tomorrow. And so he braves the forests of Raktika in search of mystery and wonder. Of Ronka, to which all seekers of hidden truths are inevitably drawn.
We have arrived. Vast though these woods may be, they are, by and large, uninhabitable. Not so the swamps of Cydia, however, whose sparse foliage permitted man a foothold.
No lands must remain beyond our grasp. Go forth, conquer, rule! Forgive me. A sudden pang of nostalgia for those halcyon days. Exploring virgin territories, subjugating primitive peoples, all for the glory of Garlemald.
If you've brought your ivory standard, I'll be happy to tell you where to stick it.
Can we not simply take a moment to enjoy the view together? Or would you rather I spied on you from the shadows? Much more of this, and I may very well begin to regret my show of good faith.
If you really want to stay, then help us fight.
No, I think not. I am an observer, nothing more. Even shielded by the shadows of these boughs, I feel the light's presence most keenly. To accompany you is taxing enough. To fight is out of the question.
I will suffer your company if I must, but not your commentary.
Displaying our Asian counterpart meaneth to follow whosoever we lead. Were it otherwise, he would not suffer the overabundance of light in these woods. Verily, it pervadeth every corner, and so long as the Light Warden remaineth, the Sin Eater shall be free to prey upon those lands without surcease. If naught is done, 'tis but a matter of time before the blessed succumb. 2 years past, a swarm of Sin Eaters did lay waste unto their largest settlement, killing a great many of these priests in so doing. Though some few did survive, they knew not now how to go on, wayward souls in want of a guiding hand. For in mercy, Ishtola hath provided that which they sorely needed. They have since endeavored to restore their home, and thither shall we bend our steps to Fort Gone. You couldn't have just said that. You couldn't have just said to Fort Gone. You couldn't have just said to Fort Gone. If at any point in like the remainder of the story, can I just be rid of Urianger?
I see little sign of recent activity, nor hath any meaningful progress been made with the reconstruction. Mayhap Y'shtola sought shelter elsewhere. Come, let us quit this place.
Now! Surround them!
These Senators, they're not like the others.
There's a reason for that. Lower your weapons, please. We mean you no harm.
How is it they can speak?
It's a Sin Eater trick. They mean to kill us all.
Ignorance. Kupo? Or not Sin Eaters?
Perhaps they speak the truth.
I had hoped that by accompanying you, we might come to understand one another. But all I have come to understand is that you have a knack for inflaming the natives. You've committed the cardinal sin of boring me. And so I retire to the shade. Good luck.
There! Did you see that one disappear?
I think I preferred La Habrea.
Enough. Runard, report.
Master Matoya! We apprehended them as you ordered, but are you certain these are Sin Eaters?
The intense light of the ether I saw was unmistakable. If not Sin Eaters, then what?
'Tis passing queer that Y'shtola should mistake us for the enemy, is it not? Mayhap it hath been too long since last she beheld the radiance of thine ether. Master Matoya, hath time truly made strangers of us?
Nay, I recognize you, Urianger, Thancred. And this is Minfilia of the First, of whom you spoke before.
Just so. And knowing as thou must that we come in peace, might I prevail upon thee to have thy comrades lower their arms?
First explain this other presence in your company. The one I know not. There is but one manner of creature in this world whose ether is suffused with such an abundance of light.
Mine apologies, Master Matoya, but thou art mistaken. Before thee standeth our dearest comrade, the truest hero among us. Though he is but recently arrived here in the First, not one but two Light Wardens have already perished by his most puissant hand.
It cannot be.
It's been too long, clearly.
Master Matoya?
Lower your weapons. Forgive us this hostile welcome. Come. I would give you a proper introduction to Raktika and its people.
You have been busy since arriving in the First, I gather, but I would hear the tale of your travails in more suitable surroundings. With Fort Gond yet to be rebuilt, the Night Blessed have made their home in a settlement to the northeast. I will await you at its entrance. Follow the path through yonder gate and you will find me soon enough. There you are. I was beginning to worry. Much like the Twelves would, this forest has a way of dealing with those who stray too far from the beaten path. But I digress. Let me show you the home of the Knights Blessed. Grab the aetheryte.
Slitherbow is the largest of the blessed settlements. They worship no gods, instead revering darkness itself. It is a curious kind of faith, but one which has granted them the strength to persevere in the wake of the flood. I hope you weren't expecting a grand feast by way of welcome. They are a simple people. Now, I would hear of your travels away from prying ears. Come. I see. And now you seek the Light Warden of Raktika. In the days after I arrived in the First, I too relied upon the Crystal Exarch for guidance. But his penchant for secrecy and the telling of half-truths soon lost him my trust. And thus did I strike out on my own. My work eventually led me here to the forest, which I have come to know like the back of my hand. I cannot say with certainty where your quarry is hiding, but I am confident I can narrow the search.
Well, go on then.
Some few thousand years ago, this forest stood at the heart of the Empire of Ronka. A great many relics of that civilization can still be found to the east in Ixmaya. Or rather, could be found, were the area not fiercely guarded. Ixmaya, you see, is home to a tribe of warriors whose lineage is said to date back to the time of the Empire. Any attempt to enter their territory is met with lethal force. They offer no warnings, and suffer no trespasser to escape. Needless to say, my every attempt to survey the area has been thwarted.
Mayhap the Warden hideth there, full knowing none may approach it for fear of these protectors.
As for the tablet, I find the timing of its discovery suspiciously convenient. If I did not know better, I would think someone was trying to curry favor with me. Regardless, it will take time to decipher these writings. Yet I would not be at all surprised if they somehow held the key to entering Ixmaya unmolested. The Exarch has a nose for serendipity.
If there is aught I can do to assist thee in unraveling their secrets, thou needst only ask.
Thank you, Urianger. I may well take you up on that offer. While we set to work, might I suggest you take a tour of the city? Should you be in any doubt as to the importance of your role as the Warrior of Darkness, the people here will surely cure you of it.
I must say, Stola, while most of us have struggled to come to terms with our altered circumstances, you seem to have adapted rather well.
Lest you forget, Master Matoya and I dedicated our lives to uncovering the truth which hides at the heart of our world. Though separate, the fate of this reflection is nevertheless bound to that of our home. That I would be daunted by such an invaluable opportunity is absurd. But what of you, Thancred? Could it be that you are still struggling to come to terms with the nature of your young companion?
my struggles are none of your concern. Quite why you would speak thus and in this company, I do not know. Perhaps you left more of yourself back in the source than I assumed. If you'll excuse me.
Oh, touchy, touchy, touchy.
He understands that I'm not the same. That I'm not her.
Understands, perhaps, but does not accept. The question being whether he ever will, and whether you will, more importantly. As difficult as your circumstances may be, they are yours, not his. 'Tis you and you alone who bears ultimate responsibility for your life. But you need not make any hard choices now. Why not go and get some fresh air, clear your head?
Got some stuff we can open. Just two things, pants and a hat. I am not indifferent to Thancred's troubles. Nevertheless, I will not apologize for holding him to a higher standard after all these years. He has ever been a man of considerable resolve, and that is what I will continue to expect. Though it hardens me to know that some of us remain ourselves in spite of our present circumstances. I can but imagine how Alice and Alphinaud have changed since arriving here in the first. Perhaps you should be concerned with how you... No, change is part of life. We can but hope it's changed for the better. You're right. And after my untoward remarks to Thancred, no doubt he thinks I changed for the worst. I will have to speak with him later. Returning to the matter at hand, I really must begin work on deciphering this tablet. In the meantime, perhaps you should take a look about Slitherborough. Is there anything you need, pray speak with Runa at the plaza. Welcome, friend, welcome. My apologies for a less than hospitable greeting earlier. Tell me, what is your name? From where do you hail? From the Crystarium. I see. And this tablet you've brought may help us find the Light Warden here in Raktika. Well, you are welcome to stay with us for as long as you need. Come, let me show you around. Would it be all right if I joined you? Of course, of course. Anything for the guests of our dear Master Matoya. Thank you. She means a great deal to the Knights Blessed, doesn't she? If not for her, we may have all perished in the Great Fire. With our priest slain and our home in ruins, we were at the mercy of the Sin Eaters. It was she who drove them back, and with her sage guidance, we were able to rebuild. Before long, she became a central figure in our community, a great oak within whose shadow we may have come to find solace. That is not to say there were not those who hesitated to grant an outsider such authority, myself included. Perhaps it is the smile in her eyes when she speaks of the sunless sea. I feel whole again, now that she is with us, and I have no doubt the others feel the same. She is as much a part of the Knights Blessed as any of us, and we are grateful for all she does in service to the dark. But you did not hear this from me, yes? Now, you should know there are certain customs we ask guests to adhere to as so long as they reside within Slitherborough, to show reverence to the dark. In a word, yes, but fear not, it is not too involved. Let us begin with something simple. Follow me. Should you see any of our people come to this chamber, they have likely returned from a journey beyond the borders of Raktika. We use the water stored here to cleanse ourselves of the light's impurity. A simple and perhaps peculiar custom, but is one of our most important. Would you two kneel for just a moment that I might rid you of the light's impurity? As Runar lightly sprays you with water, your skin begins to tingle. And with that, you have been cleansed of the light's blessed touch. How do you feel? I'm not sure, to be honest. Not refreshed exactly, but I do feel different. Has this water been treated in some way? Only blessed by our priests. They are practiced in the arcane arts. As such, it is said their prayers imbue the water with a faint dark energy. A prickling sensation. No one has ever spoken of such a reaction before. I wouldn't say it was an unpleasant sensation, but I too felt something strange. The dark aspect of this water should have no discernible effect, unless... By the gods, Master Matoya was right. You are sin eaters. I jest. What you felt was likely no more than the chill of the water. Perhaps now would be a good time for you to acquaint yourselves with the people of Slitherborough. For that, I must teach you a customary greeting. Alin Tuta. In the language of Ronka, it is one of several ways one might say good evening. The world is not as safe as it once was, and this greeting lets us quickly discern friend from foe. Is there a handshake or gesture we should know too? I would hate to offend anyone. You need not worry. Merely speak the words Alin Tuda, and they will know you as friends of the Blessed. I will await your return here. Now go. They are like to be heartened by your knowledge of our ways. The elderly woman smiles warmly. Alan Shisi. Welcome, friend. I take it you will remain in these woods for some time, yes? Be wary of these woods. You will find poison in near everything you see. But fear not. Our medicinal tea will keep you healthy. Ask and it is yours. Ah, a newly come traveler. Alan Shisi, and welcome to Slitherborough. You must forgive us if we seem strangely reserved. We are a quiet and taciturn people, silent and serene as the sunless sea. The quiet makes it easy to discern the presence of eaters and other dangers here in the woods. Everyone was so kind and gracious. I was nervous at first, but already I'm starting to feel at home. There is still much I have to learn about the Knights Blessed, but their faith and strength of will is nothing short of inspiring. I can now see how they've built such a thriving community. You are returned very good. No doubt they were glad of your company. It has been too long since we have had visitors. Remember, if you have any questions, or there is anything you need, do not hesitate to ask. Speaking of which, we must arrange food and lodgings for your stay. As friends of Master Matoya, we cannot ask for payment, but if you would be willing to lend a hand, it would be my pleasure. We are fortunate indeed to play host to such generous souls. The task I have in mind is simple enough. All I ask is that you take a jug and water the crops in the square. May I help too? Of course. One of you can do the filling and the other the watering. Speak with Ursabel when you have finished. She will be relieved to hear the crops have been tended to. While you take care of that, I will see to your room and a warm meal. Right then, I'll fill you water. This was the only jug I could find which was small enough to lift, but I'm afraid there's a crack in the bottom. You'll need to hurry to the garden before all the water leaks out. You have watered half of the plot. Fetch another jug of water to take care of the rest. Was there enough water for the plot? Only half, I see. Well, let me refill the jug for you. Well met, travelers. I observed you earlier speaking with the others. Have you need of something? You watered the crops. My apologies for not noticing sooner. I've been rather distracted of late. Watering the crops was always Tadai's duty, but she is no longer with us. We have since taken to sharing the duty, though that never with guests. You are most kind. Is there anything else we can do to help? We would plant something if you would like. There is no need. The plot is small, it is true, but it provides us with enough to survive. We ask for no more. I don't know how you manage. Have the Blessed not considered leaving? Life would surely be easier almost anywhere else. I can understand why you might say that, but the easiest path is not always the right one. Tell me, do you know our history? How our faith came to be? Yes, I believe so. The Knights Blessed was initially formed by those who lost their homes in the wake of the flood. What began as an occasional gathering of survivors eventually grew into a community, which ultimately decided to strike out on its own in the Raktika Greatwood. I see you have read your history, but there is a history that is told and one that is lived. Like so many in those times, the first of the Knights Blessed lost everything. Their homes, their loved ones, all they held dear. To make matters worse, none could say what became of the souls of those lost to the flood when their bodies were reborn as sin eaters. The people were without answers, without hope, their gods having drowned along with everything else. It seemed that nothing was beyond the reach of the light. But soon they realized that where there is light, there must be darkness, and in that truth they found new faith. A belief that the souls of the departed could yet find peace beyond these burning skies and the sunless sea above. That is why we pray for the safe passage of wayward souls unto that blessed black abyss. Abyss. Fucking hell. For the return of the night, that we might someday look upon the kingdom of heaven with our own eyes. We remain in these woods for the selfsame reason our founders first chose them. That we may lead lives of simplicity with the shades of these trees as a constant reminder of our faith. With so many seeking paradise in Yulmore, it's refreshing to find people who value a humbler existence. You are kind to say so. Many consider our way of life foolish, and so it must seem to those who yet cling to their worldly possessions. In times such as these, when everything that can be taken away in an instant, it is all too easy to lose sight of why we fight to go on living. It is not to hold fast to material things, but to hold those who went before us in our hearts, to keep alive the legacy they left us. Freaking drooling over here. This we must do for them, our children, and generations yet unborn, to keep their legacy alive. Nice tie-in. It's about time. Alright, that's going to do it for this one and all its blumbering, fumbling. Hopefully I'll get my shit together in the next one. But like and subscribe if you're enjoying your time, and we'll see you in the next one as we continue through killing the Warden of Raktika. We'll see you in the next one.